Tonight, a tense high-rise standoff after a woman's body is found in a Sydney alleyway. Political futures on the line, the citizenship saga about to resume in the High Court. Community service but no jail for the cancer doctor who assaulted a patient's daughter. A trackside rescue for a woman who crashed her car onto a railway line. Soap star Martin Lyons facing jail as his victim gives a harrowing account of his crimes.
This is 9 News Canberra with Vanessa O'Hanlon.
Good evening. There's a siege situation and major crime scene on Sydney's North Shore tonight. Police negotiators are speaking with a man who spent nearly 12 hours on the roof of a Chatswood balcony, 26 stories high. The standoff sparked by the death of a young woman found in an alleyway below.
Agitated, anxious and emotional.
The future of 7 federal politicians and the Turnbull cabinet is in the hands of the High Court this week. Interest will centre on Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce, whether his dual citizenship disqualifies him from sitting in Parliament, forcing a by-election.
For months now, their futures have been in legal limbo.
Detectives from the ACT's bikie task force Nemesis have swooped on properties in Tuggeranong and Belconnen, seizing guns, drugs, ammunition and cash. 2 men have been charged. Police will allege one is linked to an outlaw motorcycle gang.
A sawn-off .22 calibre rifle.
An extensive search has failed to turn up any trace of a 21-year-old man who's disappeared from Canberra's north. Police today joining his frantic parents in a public appeal for any information that could lead to his safe return.
Anxious parents looking for answers. Their son now missing from their family home for 2 weeks in the Gungahlin suburb of Bonner.
The ACT government and the Human Rights Commission say additional mental health support is needed for Canberra's LGBTQI community during the marriage equality debate. Commissioner Karen Toohey says bystanders can also do their bit to support those facing discrimination.
The ACT's got very strong discrimination laws and we want to make sure that people understand they've got both rights but they've also got obligations during this time.
Those who witness or experience discrimination are asked to call the Office of the Human Rights Commission. Stay with us. Yet another traffic charge for a man already banned from driving for 90 years. The life-saving drug finally now affordable for those fighting cancer. The act of defiance that made the American Vice President walk out of a football game. And the exciting new role for a promising Canberra singer. A man disqualified from driving until the year 3001 has faced court again today after he was spotted by police behind the wheel again. Despite his extensive driving record, he was handed just 100 hours of community service.
Banned from driving for almost 1,000 years, but Leonard Davey got back behind the wheel.
A Canberra performer is emerging as a rising star as she tours the country in the hit musical The Bodyguard. 9 News caught up with the singer, preparing for her next big role.
Kira Amosa is shining both on and off the stage.
The first day of school can be nerve-wracking for students and parents alike, but today ACT ministers unveiled a new handbook to help calm those nerves. Written by students for students, it contains messages and drawings with helpful advice for school starters. It will be distributed to around 7,000 children attending kindergarten next year. Still to come. The airport treasure trove, the amazing array of goodies passengers have left behind. The fiery phenomenon, a rare and spectacular video of a so-called fire devil. Why this motorist jumped onto the bonnet of a moving school bus. And later with Mike, the thumping win that moves the Canberra Vikings to the top of the table.
Mike Dalton, 9 News.
Not quite sure about the cane-toed purse.
Very unusual, Vanessa.
Indeed. Mike's up next with sport, and what a finish in Bathurst, Mike.
Absolutely, what a finish. A huge day on the mountain coming up. The misfits of motor racing, how they combine for a famous Bathurst victory. The Socceroos ready to fight for their World Cup life against Syria. Sydney counts down to Australia's richest horse race, and the South Coast's best head-to-head in a world title race. They're the little team of rejects who conquered motor racing's highest peak. The Erebus team name is now etched into Bathurst 1000 history, and they have a backstory just as compelling as yesterday's great upset.
They're the misfits who took the mountain by storm.
Everyone in our little team, we're all very different.
Australia's cricket captain Steve Smith is expected to be fully recovered from a shoulder injury in time for the Ashes. Also coming off injury, Mitchell Starc, who opted for some unorthodox training today. He was fending off some quick deliveries from Davis Cup captain Leighton Hewitt. Rugby union now, and after a big win against Melbourne on Sunday, the Vikings are the team to beat in the NRC with the pointy end of the season just around the corner. Back-to-back victories have almost guaranteed them a final spot.
With only 2 rounds left in the National Rugby Championship, the Canberra Vikings look to be headed in the right direction.
Cricket, and the century-scoring Katie Mack has smashed 13 boundaries for the ACT Meteors against Queensland on Sunday, leading the side to their second victory. It comes following their round 1 win against Victoria on Friday at Manuka Oval. The Meteors will play against the Australian side in the coming weeks as they prepare for the Ashes campaign. Now stay with us after the break. An alert for Subaru drivers. Details of an important recall. The man who jumped onto the bonnet of a bus and wouldn't get off. And Gavin with the weather. We'll be back in a moment.
This update proudly brought to you by Daikin, Australia's #1 air conditioner.
Now for the latest weather. And Gav, it's nice to have a little bit of that rain on the ground.
Good evening, Vanessa. Thank you. So nice to have some rain on the ground and some follow-up showers and thunderstorms pushing over the region throughout this afternoon, clearing into this evening after topping out around 30 degrees, the mid to high 20s for most. We had some morning showers around Bombala and across the Monero. That all cleared, but it was certainly warm. It's been very, very humid as well. Rain up until 9 o'clock this morning. Good to see some of it falling inland, so desperately needed across the Riverina. Northern New South Wales got a really nice drink from Lightning Ridge to Narrabri, Barraba towards Coffs Harbour and Dorrigo across the plateaus. Now this system here flared up more showers and thunderstorms, and you can see right throughout southeastern New South Wales and the ACT we had a little bit of instability from that passing system. All quiet though in behind it for now as another high comes across, making for mostly fine calm skies again throughout the southeast. There's more rain brewing. Finally the tide is beginning to turn a little bit. We've got more showers in the forecast, not huge numbers for us, but at least that overall trend that has dominated the year, especially the winter, is finally being broken as we move into October. Sun's back out for Canberra tomorrow. Storms for Brisbane. Severe storms are likely. The Alice getting a little stormy, cool with drizzle in the west. Monsoon build-up continues over the north. Feels like we've experienced our own monsoon build-up. There's the southerly though throughout tomorrow, but you've got mostly northerly winds again inland. There's that convergence line right throughout the western slopes and over the tablelands itself. It's going to be mostly fine. The chance of a shower, even though we've got some convection on the way from those two air masses meeting over the mountains, we'll see some cloud get produced from it, but I'd say mostly fine conditions. Temperatures up around 20 degrees for most. You can see into the high teens, low 20s, but around 20 is probably a good call for the majority of the coast throughout tomorrow. Throughout the Monero, also into the low 20s, partly cloudy skies. Probably the cloud won't be as thick as the coast. The tablelands, very similar story after getting some nice rain. But for Queanbeyan to Canberra and across the suburbs, we're looking at a little bit of a cool start, 4 or 5 degrees, not too bad, and then into the low to mid 20s, fine clear skies overhead. Out on the waterways, still got a strong wind warning that will remain in place for Eden waters throughout tomorrow, but that should back off Looking at the tidal info, you got the low early and then working to the high at about 12:23 and then dropping again. Sun to rise 6:22 and of course that moon now is waning away. Some showers in the forecast here for Canberra. A little bit better with that system pushing through on Thursday.